have any type of amplification device? Or if you don't have anything. So we'll go ahead and start with Lexi.
My name is Lexi. I'm 15, hard of hearing. I was born deaf, and I go to Osceola High School. And I have a cochlear implant. Hi, my name is Brandon Plank. I'm 8 sign. I'm 16. I'm 17 soon. Born hard of hearing. Born hearing. And then I got sick when I was little. And I go to Phillips Park High School. I use hearing aids. That's it. My name is Jennifer Serrano. Name sign JS. I'm 17. I'm deaf. Born deaf. I go to FCD, Florida School for the Deaf and Blind. And I use hearing aids. I'm not currently wearing it. Hi, my name is Chad. My name sign is C. I'm 17 years old. I'm deaf. Born deaf. I go to school at FCD. I wear hearing aids. Hi, my name is Jonathan Chapman. I'm 16. I'm hard of hearing and born hard of hearing. I'm hard of hearing. I was born hard of hearing. I go to the same school as Jennifer, Florida School for the Deaf and Blind, and I use hearing aids. Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm 15, hard of hearing, born hearing. Go to school with the rest of the same school as the rest of the panel, and FSDB, and I use a cochlear implant. Hi, my name is Lauren. I'm 15. I was born deaf. I'm hard of hearing. I go to FSDB, Florida School for the Deaf and Blind, and I use hearing aids.
So I'd like to open the questions up now. If you guys want to ask your questions, just stand and wait, and then you can ask them.
Do you prefer to have an interpreter in all hearing situations like doctor's office or church?
Who are you asking?
Any of them? The whole panel?
My personal preference would be no, because I like to sometimes try and listen and communicate with hearing people without an interpreter. I would say that it depends. If the people are, there are some people that would need interpreter all the time. I prefer to be able to communicate with hearing people, but I like to get, like, education-wise and church, yes, I prefer an interpreter. Can you repeat the question?
Do you prefer to have an interpreter in all hearing situations like doctor's office, church?
I would say, I can't stand up, I have a foot. I would prefer to have an interpreter for education purposes, but and I want them to be certified. Because I've had an experience with no certification, and it's just not good. My grades were bad because of it. So I would prefer a certified interpreter. in an education setting, but in other situations, I'll fight.
Can you guys move your chairs over just a little bit because Sally's videoing behind you? Do we have any other questions?
When out in public with hearing people, what is your communication experience like? Do you use voice, sign only? Do you use pen and paper, a type of phone?
I use my voice, but if I'm with my deaf friends, then I'm willing to sign to my friends and speak for them and help them communicate. I prefer writing back and forth with hearing people. I don't use my voice because I'm not oral, but I prefer writing back and forth with pen and paper. And using body language, gesturing, just to get the point across, understand. Or TJSL, telling people so they can learn. That's a good question, and most of the time I like to build my confidence and use my voice to hearing people. And sometimes, I don't know, if I feel lazy, I'll just write back and forth. I would prefer to speak for myself because I go to a hearing school and I talk all the time. And if I'm with deaf people, I'll use sign language out of respect. Most of the time, I bring back and forth to understand, like in a restaurant or different public settings, I write back and forth. Of course, I want to talk to hearing people, but some people, if there's a big group of people, I won't speak because it's very uncomfortable. Because people talking at the same time, I can't tell who's talking, so I write back and forth.
We have another question.
Can I just confirm, she's saying, you're signing writing back and forth, like writing? That's what you're saying, okay. Thank you.
If you have experience in mainstream school and deaf school, what are your thoughts? Which do you prefer and why?
Can you speak up a little bit? I'm sorry.
One more time. If you have experience in mainstream school and deaf school, what are your thoughts? Which do you prefer and why?
I prefer deaf school because of my experience with mainstream school. It wasn't a good experience. With the interpreters, they were so-so. And I missed a lot of important information. That's why I had bad grades. So my parents decided to put me into deaf school, and that helped me a lot. And then I got better grades. And then I went to FCD and then improved. Some grades went down, but in public school I just felt like, in the public school I just felt isolated. It's different going to deaf school the deaf way. I prefer deaf school. The reason being is that in the mainstream, with some of the interpreters, they were missing information. I wasn't getting it, so when I went to the deaf school, I understood better. I could focus more easily and get my homework done. My opinion is that both are almost the same, but in different ways. Like, for example, the mainstream school has both positive and negative. Like, for example, at the hearing school, a lot of miscommunication, but the education is good. At the deaf school, the education is so-so, but the communication is awesome. My opinion is that the deaf school is better because it's key for communication, easy to communicate with the teachers, students, and socializing. It's better than a hearing school because of the school is more challenging, so I prefer being able to communicate with my teacher and understanding clearly. In mainstream, it's a struggle, it's very hard to understand the grades go up and down. Deaf school is a perfect match for me. I prefer mainstream because of more freedom. And I'm not isolated and stuck with the same group of deaf people. And it's a better education, in my opinion. I prefer the deaf school because I feel open and not isolated with hearing kids and feeling left out. They're looking at me weird, like I'm special and left out of the group, so I prefer deaf.
Thank you. Do we have other questions?
Looking back at your life growing up deaf, do you wish you could change the decisions your parents made for you? For example, when you sign or speak, hearing aids, or cochlear, the school that you attended, what changes would you make? Could you repeat the question? Looking back at your life growing up deaf, do you wish you could change the decisions your parents made for you? For example, signing or speaking, hearing aids or cochlear, school, that kind of stuff. Well, my parents forced me to go to speech therapy, but I mean, because they didn't want me to sign, they wanted me to speak, and so, right now, when I become 18, I'll have the right to change those decisions. My parents never really made me be the same as other people. My parents wanted to see me be happy no matter what. We tried speech therapy. It didn't work out well. And so they let me pretty much decide what I wanted to do and whatever I was happy with, whether it be cochlear implants or hearing aids. And, I think that's awesome. I think, my parents were awesome for that. My father kind of forced me to take speech therapy because he knows, that someday I'll be able to, I have to stand up for myself and I'll need to be able to speak with hearing people. So, and in hindsight, I think he was right in doing that. When I was a little baby, my parents made me go, they went to the doctor, we got hearing tests, and, I had to go to, they thought maybe, or the doctors asked them to give me a cochlear implant, and they said no, we just decided on hearing aids, and then my parents thought as I grow up, I can make my own decision whether I want a cochlear implant or not. And so I'm glad that they decided that, because then when I'm an adult, I can make my own decision whether I want it or not. Honestly, I was 7, and my mom and dad both wanted me to have a cochlear implant, but my doctor said no signing, she should not be signing. And so I'm a little confused about that, because I really like being involved with both the deaf and the hearing world, so I need both signing and talking. And then I realize now that I really wouldn't want to change anything that they decided for me, because then, I have awesome friends in both worlds, so it worked out well for me. Really, in my opinion, I'm glad with what my parents chose for me, because my dad, they put me in speech therapy, and that improved my speech a lot. And then also I signed, so my signing improved. So I feel like my parents understood what my needs were, what I wanted growing up, and they know both perspectives, and, you know, my family all kind of are united in what they think, and we kind of respect each other. And so I'm glad what they chose for me, and I'm happy that I have what I have.
Do we have another question? Actually, before we do that next question, I've been waiting for the question of, are your parents hearing or deaf? Could each of you tell us that?
My mother is hearing, and my father is hearing, and then he was hearing, and then his hearing ability has gone down a lot, and so, you know, he's hard of hearing now. My parents both are hearing. My whole family is hearing, and I am the first person, and I don't know, maybe the last person that's hard of hearing, but have hearing loss. My parents are completely deaf. All of my family is hearing except me. My mom is deaf and my dad is hard of hearing, but he identifies himself as deaf, and so, you know, my brother and sister are both hearing, but they all sign. So I'm really glad, you know, that everybody knows ASL, and my whole family, the other family, you know, the extended family is all hearing, but they're all learning sign language and they understand the deaf word. My brother is hearing and he knows sign language. He signs pretty good. Both of my parents, my father is hard of hearing, but he identifies as deaf, and my mother is deaf. So, but they both can speak.
Do we have another question? Go ahead.
What is your communication preference at home or with your friends?
I speak all the time at home, and when I'm with my friends as well, I speak. Some of my friends don't know I'm hard of hearing. Why is everybody looking at me? Who's that? Well, I'll answer next. At home, I prefer to sign, apparently, and speak Spanish. We speak Spanish, but when I'm with my friends, I sign and speak in English. When I'm at home, you know, I live with my dad, you know, and we have different languages, you know, we're in Texas and Florida and all that, so, and with my friends, whether they're hearing or deaf, I sign, or I'll write back and forth with them on paper, or we text back and forth, but, you know, pretty much both.
This is a question for everyone, so if you haven't answered yet, please do.
Well, can you repeat the question again?
What is your communication preference at home or with your friends?
Honestly, I don't like